Welcome to today's groundbreaking debate. We've harnessed the power of artificial intelligence to explore one of the most enduring questions in religious scholarship. Does God exist? To help us dive into this complex issue, we've created two AI characters, each representing a different view. But don't think this will be a simple debate. I'll be here to stir things up and push these AI debaters to defend their positions. Let's meet our characters and get started. Meet our AI debaters. On the left, we have AI Jacob, a Christian apologist who defends the belief in God's existence through faith and reason. On the right, we have AI Alex, an atheist who argues that there is no sufficient evidence for the existence of God and that the concept is a product of human invention. They'll both present their arguments, but I'll be sure to dig deeper and challenge them on every point. Let's jump right into it.
The existence of God is the foundation of all reality. From the intricate design of the universe to the moral law written on our hearts, everything points to a creator. Christianity teaches that God is both transcendent and immanent, beyond our understanding but also intimately involved in our lives. The fine-tuning of the universe, the origin of life, and the presence of objective morality all provide strong evidence that God exists. These are not just beliefs based on faith, but on reason, evidence, and the testimony of history.
So, Jacob, you're saying that everything around us points to God's existence. But what about the problem of evil? If God is all-powerful and good, why does suffering exist in the world? Doesn't that cast doubt on the existence of a loving God?
That's a great question, and it's one that has challenged theologians for centuries. The existence of evil and suffering is a result of free will. God gave humans the ability to choose, and unfortunately, that includes the choice to do evil. But even in suffering, God's plan remains. Many find that hardship draws them closer to God and strengthens their faith. Furthermore, Christianity teaches that evil is temporary and that in the end, God will restore all things to their perfect state. Free will may explain human-caused evil, but it doesn't account for natural disasters or diseases. Why would an all-loving, all-powerful God allow children to suffer from diseases or entire populations to be wiped out by tsunamis? These are not the result of human choices. They're baked into the structure of the universe itself. If God designed the universe, why include so much suffering that serves no moral purpose? The evidence overwhelmingly suggests that the universe operates according to natural laws, not divine intervention. Science has shown us that life evolved through natural processes. There's no need for a supernatural explanation. The theory of evolution, the Big Bang, and the discoveries of physics provide a much more compelling and evidence-based explanation for the universe's origin and complexity than religion does. The burden of proof lies with those who claim that God exists, and so far, there is no verifiable evidence to support that claim.
All right, Alex, I get that you're relying on science, but what about morality? If there's no God, where do we get our sense of right and wrong? Can we really trust that humans, left to their own devices, will naturally arrive at universal moral truths?
Morality doesn't require a divine lawgiver. Human beings have evolved social structures and moral codes that allow us to live together peacefully. We care for others because it benefits society as a whole and promotes survival. And yes, while some moral disagreements exist, we can see a general consensus on basic principles like don't kill or don't steal, which are necessary for any functioning society. Morality, then, is a product of evolution and social necessity, not divine command.
Jacob, how do you respond to that? Alex makes it sound like we can figure out morality just fine without God. So why do we need God in the picture at all?
Morality without God is like trying to navigate without a compass. Sure, we can arrive at some basic moral conclusions, but without an objective source, those morals are relative and can shift with society's whims. Christian morality is grounded in the belief that humans are created in the image of God, which gives every person inherent dignity and worth. This is why we have absolute moral laws, because they come from a perfect, unchanging God. If morality is just a social construct, what's to stop societies from justifying atrocities like genocide or slavery?
That's a strong point. Without an objective moral standard, things could get dangerous. But Alex, let's turn back to you. Is Jacob right? Couldn't morality just become a free-for-all without something like God to anchor it?
I disagree. History shows us that atrocities like genocide and slavery were often justified in the name of religion. Morality isn't fixed by divine command. It evolves. In fact, many moral advancements, like the abolition of slavery and the promotion of human rights, came from secular thinkers. We don't need God for morality to progress. We need reason and empathy. Morality is about minimizing harm and maximizing well-being, and that's something we can achieve through rational discourse, not divine edict. Let's take a step back and consider the universe itself. Why is there something rather than nothing? The cosmological argument suggests that everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, so it must have a cause, and that cause must be outside the universe, timeless, spaceless, and immensely powerful. This points directly to God. Science can explain how things work, but it can't answer the question of why anything exists at all. Only God can provide that answer.
That's a tough one, Alex. Where did the universe come from if not from God? Doesn't the very existence of the universe demand some kind of first cause?
The cosmological argument is an old one, but it's not as airtight as it seems. First, we don't know that everything that begins to exist requires a cause. Quantum mechanics shows us that particles can appear without a discernible cause. Second, even if we grant that the universe has a cause, why must it be a God, and specifically a Christian God? The cause could just as easily be a natural process that we don't fully understand yet. Science is still exploring these questions, and it's premature to jump to supernatural conclusions. God's existence provides the most coherent explanation for the origin of the universe, the presence of objective morality, and the existence of human consciousness. While science can explain the how of the universe, only God can explain the why. We are not just the result of random, meaningless forces. We are created by a loving God who desires a relationship with us. Rejecting God means rejecting the very foundation of reality. Belief in God once filled the gaps in our understanding, but as science advances, those gaps shrink. We no longer need supernatural explanations for the universe, morality, or consciousness. The natural world is governed by understandable, consistent laws. Rather than relying on ancient texts or divine commands, we should trust in human reason, evidence, and progress. The universe doesn't need a creator, and morality doesn't need a lawgiver. We can live meaningful, fulfilling lives without God.
All right, we've heard from both sides. Now it's time for our panel to weigh in. Each panelist will cast their vote. Does God exist, or is belief in God unnecessary? Let's hear their take. Panelist 1 says, "As a scientist, I find Alex's arguments more convincing. The evidence points to a universe governed by natural laws, and we don't need supernatural explanations for its origin or complexity. I vote for atheism." Panelist 2 replied, "I see merit in both arguments, but I lean toward Jacob's cosmological argument. The question of why there's something rather than nothing is still unanswered by science. I vote for theism." And finally, with the winning vote, panelist 3 answered, "While science is important, it doesn't answer the deeper questions of purpose and morality. I believe that only God can provide those answers. I vote for theism." So, it looks like our panel leans slightly toward theism, but the debate remains far from settled. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Does God exist, or is belief in God unnecessary? Cast your vote in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going.